Other question. New question, the member from Kingston and the Islands.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport. As the former parliamentary assistant to the Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport, I saw firsthand the benefits of our government's support to Indigenous sport and recreation. For example, nearly in its 10th year, the Community Aboriginal Recreation Activator program continues to improve the quality of life and well-being of First Nation communities through sport and recreation in communities all across Ontario. This program supports the calls to action from the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, as well as the recommendations generated by the Feathers of Hope report, which was written to address the needs of difficulties facing Indigenous young people. Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, can you tell the members of this House about what else our government is doing to support physical activity and recreation-based programming for First Nations?
Question. Sorry. Thank you. The Minister of Tourism, Culture and Sport.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Thank you very much to the member for the question and for her advocacy, Speaker, on behalf of First Nations communities across this province. I'm very proud, very proud of the Community Aboriginal Recreation Activator program, which helps to support the integration of traditional values and culture into sport and recreation programming, benefiting over 50,000 First Nations Ontarians. Since 2006, we're very proud that $7.8 million has been invested in First Nations communities through Cara, and the program continues to expand. In fact, Speaker, it's grown by 80% since 2014 alone, from 15 to 27 communities, which is really exciting. Building on that model, our government recently hosted 2 successful youth cultural camps, Speaker, supporting Indigenous youth and accessing their cultural teachings through hands-on programs. 2 of these programs, one in Pekanjikam and one in Fort Albany, attracted over 250 Indigenous First Nations young people.
Supplementary.
I look forward to more in my supplementary. Thank you.
Certainly will.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Minister, for your response. It's fantastic to hear how wide-reaching, comprehensive and successful our government's investment in Indigenous sport and recreation has been. The Cara program's community development model is considered across government as a best practice for First Nations programming. I know the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte outside of Kingston are a Cara community that have benefited tremendously from the Cara program. As the MPP for Kingston and the Islands, I'm very encouraged by this. Mr. Speaker, through you to the Minister, can you please tell the members of this House about other ways Ontario is engaging in welcoming young Indigenous athletes into organized sport?
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you, Speaker. Again, thanks to the member from Kingston and the Islands. And I want to thank and recognize my colleague, the Minister of Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation, Speaker, for his strong advocacy and his leadership on behalf of Indigenous Ontarians, both in sport and more broadly. Our government, Speaker, continues to provide funding to the Aboriginal Sport and Wellness Council of Ontario to oversee grassroots physical activity and participation, coordinate sport development and coaching initiatives, and represent Ontario's Indigenous people at the national level. In July 2016, the Council hosted the first Ontario Aboriginal Summer Games in partnership with the Six Nations of the Grand River, welcoming athletes, coaches, volunteers from across our province. And this summer, Speaker, I'm very excited that Toronto will, for the first time, host the North American Indigenous Games. These games promise to be one of the most exciting sporting events in Canada. They will represent all 13 provinces and territories and 5,000 athletes from across North America, leveraging the investments we made, Speaker, in the Pan Am Games and all the facilities that they